Yes, I know you already saw this HP Pavilion TG01 in previous videos, but this one is different. Hey guys, welcome back to the Hardware Says channel. My name is Ivan, and today we are going to look at my second HP Pavilion TG01. And why second? Well, I told you that's an excellent deal, and I absolutely love this computer, and I'm gonna show you how to make it even better than before. If you see my previous super lengthy video, I had a tutorial done with improving the cooling, adding an intake, adding memory, doing all that stuff. But now a lot of people will ask me, well, what if you don't want to spend the $45 or $50 for the big Shuriken 3? Well, this is the answer, guys. The Snowman. $15 to $18 on Banggood. Comes into this little box, nothing too special, but you have 4 copper heat pipes right there in the bottom. You have an RGB fan, 12 millimeter, very quiet. This fan spins around 1200 RPMs. It is only 18 decibels of noise, and it has delivered an amazing performance in my previous HP Pavilion 690 build with the Ryzen 5 2600, keeping the temperatures under 65 degrees, even super stressed. So I have great hopes and expectations from this one. To put it on this one, which now has the Ryzen 5 3500, see how it's going to perform. It's a little bit more compact than the big Shuriken 3, so maybe with this one we can clear the memory, so we can just change memories if we want to without having to take this whole cooler out. Installation process is very easy and fast, and I'm going to show you how to do it. So if you don't want to spend a lot of money, just go to Banggood or any of the other Chinese websites, grab yourself one of those for $15 or $18, depending on the day. I mean, because one day I see it 15, another day I see it 18, and back to 15, so it really doesn't matter. I personally paid around $16 and arrived pretty quickly, actually. I think less than 2 weeks. It was right here, so ready to install it on this one. We're also gonna upgrade the memory here. I'm gonna upgrade the wireless card, show a little bit more details. People requested that since last time something happened with my video and the actual process got cut off, but I mean, that happens. And I'm actually gonna show the step-by-step process how to install the 80mm or 92mm, whatever you wanna have, intake fan on the front cage. So very fast and easy again. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start doing all the modifications. Now, before I move to any of the mods, I noticed something very curious about this particular version of the TG01. And what I do is, with all my computers, before I start modifying anything, I actually plug them in, install them, make sure they're working. And what I noticed immediately pulling out the task manager is that the CPU under this stock cooler is actually Ryzen 5 3600. And I'm very baffled about this because this configuration is offered, sold, and described with Ryzen 5 3500. This is what I had on the first one, but this one comes in with the 3600, which is great news. I mean, you're getting 6 cores, 12 threads instead of just 6 cores. So I'm not sure if this was just a mistake in the factory and they installed 3600 instead of 3500, or somebody actually upgraded this one and then returned it without remembering and thinking, which I'm more inclined to think about the first one, because who would put a better processor and then return it to the store, right? Doesn't make any sense. But again, that's a great win for me, and this has never happened before, to get a better processor than what you're expecting. So 3600, yeah, that's awesome. But let's go ahead and do the mods. And I'm not gonna waste your time with showing how everything is getting disassembled. You can go and watch the first video. I am just gonna reach to the point where the backplate is already removed, and with this Snowman installation. So we're gonna do some editing magic right here, and we're gonna do, so what I normally do first when I take the motherboard out is kind of do a mockery to see how exactly and what orientation I want to place the CPU cooler, heat pipes down or heat pipes up, depending on the cable, how long it's going to be, and I want to kind of tuck it around to make it a little bit more manageable. So there's nothing on the CPU, but man, can you see this? Ryzen 5 3600. I don't know how I got so lucky, but I did. So I wanted to see how the orientation of this cooler is going to be and where exactly it's going to land, how I'm gonna manage the memory. So if I want to put it here, the clip might be on the way of the memory module, so I think I'm gonna have to rotate it around, heat pipes up. That way this retention clip right here, it's not going to be on the way of the memory. So yeah, most likely that's going to be my orientation right there. And then I'm going to have to figure it out how to tuck the cable around, get it a little bit more manageable. But the memory slots are kind of clear, so actually if I put a memory stick right here, later I will be able to take it out, in and out if I need to, for some reason upgrade it or something else. So there's a little bit more clearance with this cooler compared to the Big Shuriken 3. But yeah, let me go ahead and remove the back plate, and we're gonna be back with the installation. Now that a back plate is removed, again, take your time, don't rush it. Use plastic tools, pry it in each corner, use your fingers, and have it slowly pried off. You can take the whole thing off. And these are the provided plastic inserts that you are going to use to install retention plate for the snowman. So there are barely visible markings on the plate. And let me see if the camera will pick it up. You'll see for the different sockets, 7075, 1556, 5551, and 1366. They are marked right here, right on the rim. So you gotta be careful where you place this clear plastic retention. Make sure there's a little tabs right here on the side to make sure that matches exactly where it needs, and just push it through until it goes completely in. And then on the other side, we're just gonna push it through the holes of the motherboard. So if you get all these four, go around, place them exactly where they need to be around this retention ring. Once they are in place, there's no really orientation because you're gonna see the tabs are all around, so you can place it like this or like this, it doesn't matter. Just go ahead and match the holes where exactly on the motherboard are, and just push through with your finger until it snaps. You'll hear it click, and that's it. Now from here, all we need to do is just place these four plastic kind of stoppers through that clear one, and that is going to retain everything together. And this is how it looks on the other side. There's no retention plate, just these plastic clear ones are opened, and now the black one, it's preventing it from coming back because these are kind of stopped. There's a little stopper, so very similar to what Intel are using on their kind of a stock cooling solution. If you've seen those in the past, this is what exactly this is mimicking. Make sure they're completely through. And now from here, all we need to do is just apply a thermal paste and install our cooler. And like I mentioned, I'm going to do it with the heat pipes pointing up, and it's going to go like this. And then I'm going to clip the retention on the bottom and plug my fan around. I had to reposition the fan. Initially, the cable was pointing up, so I took the retention clips and rotated the whole fan so this cable won't dangle on this side a lot. I'm just going to rotate it and plug it in. It's going to be cleaner looking. And from here, just don't forget to take the plastic off the bottom of the cooler and clean it up with some more alcohol, and you'll see there is a direct contact with the four copper heat pipes. A very good thing to see, and I mentioned the performance of this cooler is very good, and I've had experience with it in the past, so I can definitely tell you and recommend you that this super cheap $16 Snowman actually performs on par with a lot more expensive coolers like the Big Shuriken 3. As always, I'm going to use my GD90 thermal paste, but again, if you want to use the one provided by them in this little syringe, that's a good option. This Heinz, it's actually pretty known brand, so it's not bad at all. And as always, with the spreader, I'm going to spread it across the whole surface of the CPU before I install the cooler. And with the thermal paste on top of the CPU, we're now going to place the Snowman. First, we're going to clip the clip that it's close to the memory, and then the other one on the opposite side, and we are good to go. That's it with the whole installation. There's nothing else to do other than to plug in our cable. Let me inspect it real quick from all sides. Make sure that it's retained correctly, is making a contact with the CPU perfectly well. Everything seems to be in order, so that's it. From now, just gonna rotate the cable around here and plug it in to the 4-pin header of the motherboard. Nice and tucked, almost out of the way, you can see. Perfect. From here, we can proceed with getting back into the motherboard. But before that, let me show you real simple how to take that wireless card off. If you want to upgrade, I advise you do it before you put the motherboard back into the case, just because it's going to be a lot easier. You're going to have a better access to it. So all you need to do is just unscrew that little screw in the back that is holding it, take it away, slide it out, and that's it. And then place the other one in its spot. From here, you can take your upgraded Wi-Fi card with 2 antennas, just place it back into the slot and screw it back in place. And later we are going to just plug both antennas, which are already pre-routed. That way we're gonna have a better connection. And that's it. Now we are ready to put it back into the case and add a few things, do some cable management, and I will show you how it looks. Now with the proper cable management, tied up to the roof, tied up in the front, everything out of the way, we can place our memory. Actually, the memory is very easily accessible, and this is the memory I'm using. If you want to purchase the same one, that's the one that you can just plug and play. It will run at 3200 megahertz without any need of Ryzen Master. But you know, just a word of advice, if you want faster memory, you can always grab another kit and just use Ryzen Master. But for now, I'm going to use this one, 2x8, 16 gigabytes. The fan and the heatsink nicely installed to the side, not interfering with our graphics card, not interfering with our memory. Actually, this one proves to be maybe a little bit better, at least installation wise and space wise, to the Big Shuriken 3, just because it's a little bit more compact and just gives you more room to access other things if you want to. And from here, actually, let me quickly show you the installation of the fan. And this fan can be installed right here like this as an intake. What I normally do, I take these rubber isolators, like I mentioned before, I put them through the hole, and because they're super hard to pull with bare hands, I just grab like a needle nose pliers right here and tug real hard until they go through, and you'll see it comes through. And then the other side, this is going to go through the metal plate, so very easily go around with the needle nose pliers, push through the isolators, and once you have all 4 of them, it's going to look like that. All you need to do is just figure it out where exactly you're going to place this fan, through which holes it's going to go through. So if I go right here, this is not going to go right. Okay, so right here through this hole and then through this hole. So this can be my location, or actually I can move it slightly over, maybe right here, kind of match exactly where you want to mount it. And that seems like a good spot. And so from here, use the same thing, grab the rubber with the needle nose pliers and just tug it through. It's going to put some resistance as these holes are not that big, but just reposition and keep tugging. Be careful not to scratch the plate, but that's how it's going to look. And then we're going to place it in. That's it. From here, all we need to do is connect it to our fan controller, or if you want to do it, go straight to the CPU with a splitter. It's up to you what exactly you want to do with this one. All right, guys, conclusion time. And again, I cannot say enough how great this little computer is. A lot of people are bashing it online. I hear people saying, oh, it's overheats and this and that and the third. Consider this, $500. $500, and if you spend another less than 100, you can actually improve tremendously your thermals. Get yourself a Snowman, $16. Get yourself some more memory, an intake fan. You can use and actually repurpose the one that it's currently being used for the CPU. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm using that same fan to install as an intake, and that's about it. Thermals improve tremendously, and this little compact case can deliver you so much fun considering the current state of hardware, of gaming and everything else. For $500, or let's say with the improvements for $600, you can have so much fun. This graphics card, the 1650 Super, It's more than capable. And once you get that dual channel RAM, it's definitely gonna bump the performance. Good 15 to 20 FPS I've seen across multiple games. But again, this is a subject for another video. I'm just gonna show you the game performance with single channel and with dual channel and see how exactly that works. Now, speaking of memory, the memory I used, you guys see, is the memory I actually sourced out from my Dell XPS and my Dell G5 pre-builds. That memory comes in at 3200 megahertz already, slower timing, CL22, but who cares? If you have that kind of memory, or if you can track it down on eBay, you don't even have to do anything with Ryzen Master. Just plug that memory into the motherboard, and immediately it's going to run on 3200 megahertz without you changing anything. No XMP profiles on this one, it's just GDAC, but who cares? Again, very easy process. If you don't want to tinker around Ryzen Master, play around with timings and voltages and this and that and the third, just get some of those memory modules. I'm going to leave description of the memory and part numbers in the description of the video, so you can kind of search around the net, possibly grab it cheaper. I've seen a ton of them floating around eBay for around $30 per 8 gigabyte stick, which is pretty reasonable. That's it. A lot of improvements, and most of all, we are having silence and good temps with that specific desktop. And I'm more than happy that I grabbed two of these, because I'm gonna enjoy them tremendously. They are going to be used for gaming, and I'm going to continue to do projects with them. I have a couple more ideas in the future, which I'm going to show you. Hit the thumbs up if you like the video, stay tuned to the channel, subscribe if you're new, hit that bell notification so you can get notified on every future video coming your way. Plenty of content is coming, couple of very interesting laptops, couple of very interesting desktops. We're going to do a lot of comparison, a lot of gaming, a lot of improvements. You guys know what I do. I try to do as much as possible to show every single detail. How can you improve those pre-builds and make them better so you can use them for a long time and enjoy gaming and everyday work. That's pretty much it. Till next time, guys, you have a wonderful day.